Hello world, Shelly here, and today I've got for you a look at some new e.l.f. products. I've got a bunch of their new releases. A few things here are just new to me, they're not new to the line, but I have a whole lot of e.l.f. They just finished that 30 days of new promo that they had where every day for a month they were releasing new products, and I picked up a bunch of stuff and I'm very excited. There's some glitter. That makes me happy. So let's just dive in and do some first impressions on these. First up, I do already have foundation on. I am going to try out the On Point Concealing and Blending Sponge. Now, here is what the sponge looks like before it is dampened. And then after you dampen it, of course, it expands. I feel like this is a really soft, bouncy sponge. It feels almost like inside the core is a thicker, firmer sponge, and then the outer layer seems to be just more cushy, like more bouncy. It feels really nice. It's a dual-ended sponge, so you've got a nice pointed tip here for getting into that crevice in the inner corner of the eye, a less dramatic point here on the other side, and it looks very nice. We are going to pair that up with the under eye concealer and highlight. I've got this in the shade Fair Glow, and it is just a double-ended concealer and highlighter. They say to use the highlighter over the concealer. Typically I would do my brightener under the concealer, but that's how the instructions say to use it. They also say that you can use the highlighter side as an eyeshadow primer. This retails for $3 and the sponge retails for $5. So let's see how these two perform. We've got the usual doe foot applicator for the concealer and the highlights. I will do it as they instruct and put my concealer down first. This is the lightest shade Fair. It looks to be a yellow undertone or a warm undertone concealer, and it's a pretty thin formula. It doesn't seem very thick. It's a little bit watery. Let's blend that in. I like the point on this sponge. I have a hard time getting into that inner corner of my eye because I do have dark circles that go all the way up, and I need to blend all the way up almost to my brow. So I like the tip of this sponge for that. This is a little firmer than the sponges I usually use around my eyes, but it's still soft. It feels nice. Definitely not a full coverage concealer. I'm going to go in with just a tiny bit more because my purple is still totally coming out to play here. Like, really screaming. Here, we'll just leave that side and you can see. I'm still pretty purple. It got a little better with that second coat. Concealer blends out nicely, but I'd say it's light coverage at best. I'm not getting a ton of product soaking into the sponge, so it really is just a pretty light coverage. Let's try adding some of the highlighter and see if that makes any difference. Ooh, it's a pink brush. And whoa, this is just like white. This reminds me of the Kat Von D White Locket Concealer Creme in just a, well, quite a bit more liquidy of a formula. It does seem to give some nice brightening right away, and it's blending quite easily into the concealer. If you've got super dark circles, you're kind of just brightening purple. So that concealer's not really going to be my favorite thing ever. I'm going to put some onto my lids in anticipation of some eyeshadow. This seems like it would be a nice go-between. It's not quite the same as putting down like a white, like the NYX Milk pencil, but it's a little bit white and brightening in terms of primer. So if you were putting this down with the intention of helping the colors of your shadows to pop a bit, I think we're probably going to have pretty good luck with that. It seems like it's going to do that. It is drying down into a nice tacky finish. It really feels like an eye primer. Next, I have a couple of face palettes. They both retail for $6 each. This is the Contour palette. Both have very nice mirrors, inside, and this has a bronzer shade, a contour shade, like a banana powder, maybe under eye setting powder, and then a shimmery sort of highlight. And let me swatch them for you. Here they are. Bronzer, contour, banana powder, and highlight. And the illuminating palette, same kind of compact here. You've got 4 different highlighter shades that, according to the website, can be used to be combined into your own custom highlighting color. Now, I will swatch these, but one thing that I think is weird about these as a highlighting or illuminating palette is they don't really have shimmer. They're very matte. So here are the 4 shades, and I'll just go one by one. So they're nice shades, but they all just seem a little bit chalky and a little bit, the only difference I see is really the undertones of them, and they're definitely matte. There's no shimmer going on. So to use them as a highlighter, I'm not so sure this is gonna work, but we will try it. Let's start with the contour shade in the contour palette. It doesn't seem to pick up a ton of product, which I think is good because you really don't want to overdo your contour. Now, as fair-skinned as I am, I usually like a cool-toned contour. Pick up a little bit more. This is slightly warm-toned. It's pulling a little orange on my skin tone, which tends to happen with me. Fair skin, the more fair you are, especially if you're a cool undertone. The contour is supposed to appear like a shadow, and shadows are typically, you know, black, gray, darker. You generally don't want to put like straight up gray on your face, but you would like, you know, a gray toned brown, and depending how different colors pull on your undertone, like see this just, it pulls a little bit warm on me. Let's try the other side. Little too warm for my skin tone. Nice, blendable, no trouble with blending. Could work for you. Not the right match for my skin tone, but I like it. Let's dip into the bronzer a little bit. These are just Real Techniques brushes. I love them. I think this was a limited edition set last Christmas. Woo! That's a little more pigmented. Too much, too much! Woo. Also pulling a little warm on me. The point of bronzer is to warm up your skin a bit, but the orange doesn't usually work on me. But again, very nicely blendable. No trouble blending. I also picked up a new brush. This is the Fluffy Eye Blender Brush. I'm going to use this to set my under eyes. I'm going to take that banana color out of the contour palette. It seems really finely milled, nice and soft. Sometimes I like a banana color instead of a translucent powder under my eyes because I feel like it helps counteract my purple when the purple is out to play. Yeah, this looks really finely milled, looks really great for setting under eyes, doesn't accentuate my fine lines or wrinkles any more than they already are, although that concealer did not conceal much. There's so much yellow and there's so much purple. For the illuminating palette, let's try that first for highlighter. We've got kind of like a taupey shade here, and then there's sort of a yellowish. You've got the apricot color and then a sort of pink. I'm feeling like I'll probably combine the pink and the cream here. Let's try that. Well, it's super, super subtle. I don't know if my mind is playing tricks on me. I'm feeling like I can see it in the viewfinder, but I can't really see it in the mirror. as I suspected. It's just it's not really highlighting. It's not emphasizing texture or anything, but I can't really see it. So I'm going to say just no go on the illuminating palette. Let's try putting the highlighter from the contour palette over that illuminating palette highlighter. There it is. It's definitely your icy white type of color. It looks a little more cream in the pan, but it's coming off a nice sort of icy white. No chunks of glitter. It's a nice sheen. It is not emphasizing texture on my skin. That is really pretty. This, while a little too warm for my taste, I think this is an excellent product. If this will work for your skin tone, you should totally try it out for $6. I think it is beautiful. These powders are really nice consistency and very pretty on the skin. Here I've got another new release. This is the Shimmering Highlight Powder. It retails for $6. Looks like it comes in 7 different shades. I've got this in the shade Pearl Glow. And again, it's a compact with a very nice mirror inside. And let's give this a little swatch. Ooh, it feels super creamy. Oh, it looks super pretty. Let's try this one. I'm going to try this with my Morphe 510. This time we'll do this side. Ooh, this is like super creamy looking. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's even more blingy than the contour palette highlight. This is a slightly more gold undertone. Just going to layer it up a bit so you guys can see it really well. Difference between the one in the contour palette and this shimmer highlight, I think in terms of texture. The shimmer highlight is accentuating texture on my skin just a little bit. It's not to the point that I would not wear it. I would still totally wear it. But this is a little bit more of a warm undertone where this is like a pearly, almost pink undertone sheen. But very pretty, very blingy, very buildable. It seems to build up nicely on itself. I'm going to go thumbs up. Let's move to the eyes. I picked up all 3 of the new matte to metal eye primer transformers. Comes in 3 shades. So we have a twinkling taupe, a shimmering silver, and then a shimmering gold shade. And the idea behind these is that you use them as primer underneath matte eyeshadows, and it gets your shimmer on, according to the e.l.f. website. They retail for $4 a piece. Let's take a look. We got a little doe foot sort of applicator here. First up is the taupe shade. They seem a little sort of tacky, chunky-ish. Here is the silver. They're a pretty dry formula, I'm noticing. And the gold. I'm not super pumped about the formula here. It feels kind of dry and... eesh. Well, let's try it out. So I grabbed my e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. This is the Mad for Matte 2 with a broken shadow on the end. Don't look, it makes me so sad. This is one of my favorite matte palettes. I mean, these are so easy to use. Mad for Matte and Mad for Matte 2 are great. So let's do one eye with just the matte shadow, the other one with the metal transformer underneath it. Remember, we did prime with that highlighting powder, so we should be good to go in that department. I think I'm going to use that rosy taupe and go in with this shade right here. So I'm just going to use these dry with a flat shader brush. Ooh, you see that highlighter had sort of creased into my eyelids there. So flat shader brush, here will be our matte side. Just going to take this all over the lid, into the crease a little bit. Let's use that e.l.f. brush and just make it a little bit pretty. This brush feels nice. It's a good size for crease blending or transition shade if you want a nice blown out color. Now let's take the eye transformer and pop it on here. You really don't get a lot of product out onto the doe foot. Just gonna blend it in with my fingertip like I would any other eye primer. Since it is shimmering, I don't want to take it too high into my crease because I do have hooded lids, and shimmer on a hooded lid is going to look nightmarish. It does have some color to it, so you see how it's kind of bleeding into the inner corner of my eye. You have to be really careful where you put it. It's not taking very evenly. It's kind of patchy. And let's go in with that same matte shadow. Pretty up the crease a little bit. Does that look shimmery to you guys? The main difference I'm seeing is that the side with the metal to matte transformer is darker. It's more pigmented. The pigment has stuck to the primer quite a bit more, but it's also a bit patchy, and it doesn't look shimmery at all to me. I see no metal. I see no shimmer. No, these are a pass. I have a few eyeliner products here, and I decided to try one from their new Active line. This is their line of workout-ready, sweat-proof makeup, and this is their eyeliner pencil. And I was thinking that if it is sweat-proof and workout-ready, it might be a nice waterline pencil. So that is what we're going to try it here. Retails for $4, and let's see. This doesn't glide on as easily as my favorite, the Urban Decay 24/7 Waterline Pencil. It doesn't seem quite as black, as dark black, as opaque as my Urban Decay, as I stab myself in the eye. But it seems to layer up all right. My eyes are getting a little watery. We will see if it transfers around at all while I'm filming this, but I wouldn't go out of my way. If you don't have a waterline pencil and don't want to drop the money on the Urban Decay, which is like 20 bucks for $4, this might be worth trying out. Not as smooth or easy to apply as my Urban Decay, but after I layered it up, it went on okay. I also grabbed a couple of the new e.l.f. Stardust glitter liners. I have the gold shade Glimmering Shimmering Gold, and I've got pink opal here. So let's try these guys out. I was thinking they might be a good dupe for the Urban Decay Heavy Metals liners. Ooh, the brush looks almost identical. It's a nice fine-tipped brush. Oh yeah, they very fine lines. Not as glittery as the Urban Decay, but let's see what we can do here. This brush is really nice. This is the kind of brush I like for my eyeliner. I feel like this is a little bit subtle, but it does build up. It's not glittery so much as it is shimmery, so I guess it is a pretty accurate description, but it's not really glitter, it's just sort of shimmer. I feel like these will work better as toppers or accents to a look than using them as glitter liner on their own. They're just not bold enough to stand alone on their own. Maybe if you had a black liner and then you drew a line above it with the glitter as an accent, it might work a bit better. Let's try the opal one, and I want to see what this looks like as an inner corner highlight. Here it is swatched. Ooh, it's pretty. It's got a pink shift to it. If you can see it, it's pretty sort of subtle. Let's dab some in the inner corner here. Looks very pink on the inner corner. Again, not so much glitter as just a bit of shimmer. And as you kind of brush them around, they don't really stay put. They're not super opaque. So you got to kind of build up a bunch of product to get it so you can see it. Yeah, I'm not really blown away here. I think These are good for accents. They're not really standalone. I would use these as toppers on top of shadows, but you're not going to get super, super shiny glimmer. It's just a little bit of a subtle sort of a highlight. I don't have an e.l.f. mascara, so let me just go grab one. L'Oreal Lash Paradise. Oh my god, my lashes are going through such an awkward growth phase right now. Don't even look at them. The last product I've got is another new release. It is their Lock-On Liquid Lip Primer. Note that the website calls it the Lock-On Liquid Lip Primer, and the packaging and the outer packaging all just says Liquid Lip Primer. The words Lock-On are not on here anywhere, but be aware. So this retails for $4. It's supposed to be a hydrating formula with vitamin E and prevents fading, bleeding, creasing of your liquid lips. So I thought I would try it with a liquid lip that I have that I really like the color of, but it's a formula that dries out my lips and doesn't wear very well on the texture of my lips, and that is the ColourPop Ultra Matte. So let's give this a whirl. The instructions say to apply it to a clean, dry lip. Let it dry for 30 seconds and then apply your liquid lipstick. It seems like a clear sort of gloss. Just smells like the generic sort of chemical smell. Feels like a gloss. Let's wait 30 seconds. Ooh, I see it drying down a bit. I'm going to try not to move my lips, but something's changing. Okay, as it dries down, it's almost like, you know how candle wax, as it cools and it dries down, it almost feels like that, but not thick or anything, but it's tacky. And I can tell there's like a coating on my lips, which might be good in terms of texture, but holy cow, my lips are sticking together like crazy. And it's been more than 30 seconds. Let's apply the liquid lip. I think overall it looks nice, it feels nice. I think it is doing a little bit to help smooth out the texture of my lips. The liquid lip went on just fine on top of it. I didn't have any trouble there. Now that the liquid lip is drying down, it feels pretty much like it always does. It's drying down completely. I can't really tell the tacky texture any longer now that the liquid lip is on top. Okay, I'm gonna give this one a go. This gets a tentative thumbs up from me. I think I like it. If it improves the dryness of my lips over time, that will be the true test. All right, so which of these products would I recommend you pick up and try out? Definitely the contour palette. Definitely the Shimmer highlight. That is a nice one. The brush is good. The fluffy blending brush. I would say that the sponge is a definite win. This concealing sponge. I would say the lip primer is worth giving a go, especially if you have dry lips and like to wear liquid lipsticks that sometimes can be more drying to your lips. The eyeliner is a meh, it's okay. I'm not super stoked, but I wouldn't say it's too bad. I would say these glitter liners, don't get them if you expect to use them as straight up eyeliner, but if you just want to do very subtle, shimmery accents, not really glittery accents, but shimmery accents to a look, they would be okay. I'm not in love with them, but they would be okay for that purpose. I would totally skip the highlighting concealer. I would also skip the metal to matte transforming primers, and I would skip the illuminating palette. So we got some hits. We got some misses. That tends to be the case with Drugstore, but when you can find the hits at a reasonable price, it is such a good win. It feels so good when you get a good Drugstore product that you love. So there you have it, checking out some new e.l.f. If you would like to see more reviews and sort of first impressions on these different Drugstore brands out there, give me a thumbs up down below and I'll keep on making them. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.